Hello, this is Hi Bob Warbob, and let's play some Ultimate General Civil War. Hello, and welcome back. Today, we are going to be playing First Bull Run, and I have Something Compass here.
Hello, good to be back.
It's good to have you back. So, this is our third time recording here. Discord has been being difficult, and it has just not wanted to cooperate today for some reason. I don't know if we just didn't cross our fingers just right or what, but I hardly ever see it go down, and it goes down as soon as I try to actually do something where I'm recording, of course.
I think everyone just wants to get out and play a game today. End of the work week.
Yeah, it's that kind of week. Man, it felt like it was Friday like 2 days ago. Felt like it should have been Friday 2 days ago.
Yeah, and that maybe everybody's feeling that and they want to all go play. Everybody wants to play a game.
That would make sense. So I do something a little bit different. I don't usually see people sit on this. I usually see everybody send all their stuff around. I just like sitting here so that things don't cross over this. I just find it.
That's a good idea. I think for a while in Ultimate General Civil War, everybody brought all three of their units here, and then all the reinforcement units that came from the right edge all came here, and that's actually quite a lot. Everybody came to this point, this ford, and I think I was the first person to take everybody and go north and go and have everyone cross the northern ford and join the attack with the main army. So, and the reason I did that is these guys don't have any ammo. They don't have any supply wagons, so I always ran out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't actually really fight with them over here. I just hold here until those other units push past there, and then they cross over. Sometimes you can kill the cav unit, which can be really nice. Like, I got a couple shots on it there, but sometimes you can actually trap it and kill it.
Yeah, there's some high percentage of the time he gets caught in the water and he dies, which is good because he's a nuisance.
He is. Both him and the other one. There's like two of them, I think, that can be kind of annoying.
Yeah, if you can kill one of them right at the beginning, that's very good.
It is. So I've got quite a few units of mine coming in now. We've got 2 Lorenzes, 2 42s, and 1 Palmetto, and then just a little junk unit of reboards, just with whatever men I had left over.
Yeah,
there it is right there.
Yeah, that I noticed that everybody's 1 star.
Everybody. I mean, there is a reason for that. It's called running little circles every chance you get.
Yeah, 2 big innovations that changed the game: running little circles and detaching skirmishers on top of infantry units. That really changes the game. In the little break that we had here, I went back and looked at my legendary campaign, and that was back in the Stone Age, before we knew a whole bunch of this stuff. But we didn't even know a lot of the mechanics, how they worked. So yeah, the game has really changed a lot as we've experimented. Well, we've learned about the mechanics and we've experimented with new tactics.
Yeah. I've been working with Panda on him updating the new rebalance mod.
Oh, neat.
And talking to him about some of the changes that he's going to implement. And we've been talking about it. And he's got some really good ideas. And he's got some ideas that make me want to cry. Because already detached skirmishers are basically not even worth it in the rebalance. They don't do any damage because your units don't do damage unless they have perks, basically.
Right.
So detached skirmishers come out as tiny units because like a 3K unit only pops out like 150 man skirmisher.
Right.
Because 6K units, I think, still only pop out like maybe 300 men or something like that. So to keep the high end from being way too big, the low end is like tiny. So like a 2,500 man unit only pops out, or a 2,000 man unit only pops out like a 110 or something like that. I mean, that's like barely even a unit at that point. Like, so fast it's already about to shatter.
Yeah, he took away, like, I've been using them as infantry units forever, but I didn't use them on top of my regular infantry units. I use them mostly to give me coverage of the battlefield and also to corral enemy units so when they retreated, they didn't retreat through my lines. I'm guessing they could still be used for that purpose.
I mean, not
like
really.
If you had an infantry line and they were behind it, the enemy would not retreat through your line because it would calculate that it needs to go back the way it came.
But the melee power of skirmishers in this rebalance is almost 0. And that's what it calculates off of, is how much melee power you have in their way.
Oh.
It's not just the number of units, it's also like how strong those units are. Because, you know, if you have a unit on both sides, it picks one way or the other. Yeah. And it bases that on how strong that unit is. Well, those 100-man skirmisher units are basically not even a unit at that point. They have no perks, so they don't have any of the melee power that comes from perks. They are only 100 men, and you're facing upwards of 3,000 sometimes men in the enemy army. Well, I mean, it's like not even helpful at that point.
So basically their only job is spotting.
I mean, technically you can charge cancel with them, technically.
Oh, okay.
Because if you break them out, the enemy will charge at your detached skirmishers instead of charging at your unit, because it senses how weak that unit is. So whenever you put them away, they'll stop charging because they were charging at that skirmisher unit, and they can't charge at a unit that's suddenly doesn't exist.
In the game, the AI has to pause and recalculate.
Well, I mean, it seems to have a cooldown on how often it can charge. Panda said it doesn't, but it seems to act that way regardless of whether or not it does or not have a cooldown there. It just feels like it does.
By the way, that was a very sweet attack on that artillery right there. That was very nice.
Yeah, I think I get it wiped out before he even turns around, which is weird. Like, he started to turn for a second there, and then I pulled back, and then I got back into contact with it again. I don't know if it's going to get wiped out before or not. I can't remember. I think I might even get into contact with the other one, too. I'm not sure, though. It has been a few weeks, once again, since I actually recorded all these. So I was trying to get us around on them, and look how sticky units are. Like, that is so bad. Like, I should have easily been able to get away there. Like, I saw him start moving, like, 30 seconds before he turned around, and yet I still have been unable to get my unit out whatsoever. He's still completely stuck.
Yep. And now you've taken 2 volleys.
Yeah.
On that little tiny scout unit.
And he still hasn't even killed a unit that he's in a fight with, because he's never going to do enough damage now in the trees and all that. Yeah,
he's too small. So now he truly is a scout unit.
Yeah, but I think he only took like 20, 40 casualties there. That's not bad for 2 volleys like that. That guy's getting free shots on the back of that guy, which is kind of fun. It's funny how those problems that happen to you whenever you're in a fortification and your units just don't fire at units that are right in front of you and instead try to fire at somebody that they can't even shoot. You can pull that off on the AI as well. And now they're charging me. Oh, man.
Yeah, of course they are.
Oh, and I had 1 horse all the way back there. The rest of them are out, but that one is still way back there. So then before they fire, you want to turn around. I didn't turn around. But if you turn around right before they fire, then you won't be rear flanked. which can be really helpful sometimes. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get into contact with that other one. He's just about done for the whole battle now. So, your casualties for your run.
I looked at the battle right before, because we tried to record and then we had a little break, and so I just pulled up the video very quickly. Wow. It was back in the old days when we fought. I mean, you don't see any detached skirmishers like right now. I'm looking at the screen with all these detached skirmishers with infantry. It's just infantry firing at each other. It looks so arcane.
It does. But it's what worked. It did work. It just is not quite as effective as using every single little bit. But I mean, the rebalance, once we switch over, it's not gonna work. All my stuff is all getting broke by Panda.
Yeah, that's how it works. I mean, we figure out how to do something cool, and then modders come around and take it away from us. I have years and years of that happening to me in several different games, where the modders watch me do something, and then nope,
can't do that.
Next version, that's gone.
Yeah. So he's taking away running in circles.
Ooh, ouch.
Yep. We talked over a few different ways to do it. So you can put a cap on how much experience you can gain without being within 800 meters of the enemy.
Yeah.
You can put a cap on how much experience you gain, period, regardless of the situation you're in, because in all reality, would you really expect somebody who started out with 20 20 stamina to be able to get to 100 stamina by the end of a battle? No, they'd be exhausted. They wouldn't have gained any stamina after a certain point, probably. I could see that in reality.
Yeah, and I've encountered that with modders doing that before, where in games where you could level skills by grinding, then they change it because somebody like me will grind for hours, and then what they'll do is they'll say, no, you can only do it while you're in combat.
Yeah.
And then that takes away just standing and grinding something with a player or a unit. Yeah. So that makes sense, though.
It does. So some version of that might be happening in the next version of the mod, which was a really interesting thing to be part of, talking that over and thinking about, just what all does it affect? Because it affects a lot more than what you think. And you have to do something that doesn't affect people that are playing it the regular way, because you don't want to, hamper the actual flow of the battle.
Yeah, it seems to me that, if you put a cap on stamina, 20 points per battle, that would be, it would take away the incentive to do the massive amount of grinding.
Right. But you would still want to do some grinding, because very rarely do you actually gain 20 stamina in a single battle.
Well, somewhere I'm thinking, something like Fredericksburg, you can gain 40 or 50 points, I think.
By playing it normally?
No. By putting certain units on run and then having them spend the whole time just racing.
But what I'm saying is that you would want to put a cap that doesn't affect people that are playing normally, but then would keep you from running at all is basically impossible.
Yeah.
Because there will always be some amount to be gained by grinding, because even if one or two units would gain 20 stamina in a battle, there's always going to be another 10 units that you have that didn't need to run as much, and those 10 units running makes sense if you haven't gained full stamina on them. Okay, I'm getting away from the point that we were on. My losses. So your losses, my losses. Your losses were, what was it,
I think over 6,000.
6,400, but only about 1,901 after medicine.
Or my guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think I will get after medicine?
127.
Oh, come on. That was first bull run on the other side. Yes, I could do it there, but I can't do it on this one. You have to actually fight with your units on this one.
Yeah, and Union units are fragile. So,
what was first bull run on the other one? 238 losses after medicine on CSA bull run for my men.
wow.
Yeah, that was so you weren't far off of that one, but
No, we weren't talking about that one.
we're talking about Union, where like 3/4 of the troops are mine, and the only ones that are halfway decent are mine.
Yeah, the Allied units I see. Yeah, how many of them do not even have a star?
Oh, I don't know. Most of them, maybe.
Yeah, the 3 little ones that came in on the flank, they were all no star units.
I don't know about the artillery though. I didn't look at them. So I guess Brooks there? No, that's mine. So Walton? No, that's mine too. Where's the one that's not mine? Oh, it's running up there.
Well, just by using the detached skirmisher method, cut your losses at least in half. So I'm going to say that you do even more than half. So mine were 1,900.
Yeah.
So you were probably around 700.
You gave me too much credit. 1320.
1320.
And my total losses were about 4,300. So about 2,000 total losses less, and about a little over like 30% reduction, about 30-40, somewhere around in there. There's just no way to cut it down much more than this. I tried several times to try to figure out ways. There's a couple places where I lose some men that I probably didn't need to. I think I lose about 50 men in a melee that I should have never touched. But it's amazing just how fast you lose men, and these big units come in, and you just have to stand there and take some shots. Like, just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, now that you say that number, a large part of this battle, by its very nature, is you're just going to take a position and he's just going to attack you.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing really clever you can do. You can't encircle him. I mean, I just played this not too long ago on Brigadier General. There's going to be a period of time where he takes these 3-star infantry units against your 1-star and no-star units and is just going to pound on them. And you're going to take losses.
Yeah, even like Hampton's Legion there. I'm going to take hits from that. Even though I'm in the forest, I got good cover. He's still got good cover too. I mean, they're crossing into this river here, but I'm having to stand in the open on the other side of the river. If they touch me, I take a bunch of losses. If they don't touch me, they still, like right there, that was like 50 men that I lost right there from one volley of a guy that just crossed the river, just barely crossed the river.
You have 3 units, and actually this is sort of good for you, that he's right in the water and all your guys can gang up on him at short distance, but he's still going to inflict losses on you because he's still a 3-star units that are as big as your units, and they're going to hit hard.
They are.
The Union infantry does not fight as well as the CSA infantry. It's not going to do as well.
It does not.
And yeah, if these units get in melee 1-on-1, you're going to lose.
If they get in melee 2-on-1, you're still going to lose. It's terrifying. The enemy units are just terrifying. Like there, I just took another several losses. Like, there's just nothing you can do here. Like, there's no cover to get into on this side of the river.
Yeah, the good news is you're inflicting losses on the enemy because he's in a terrible position, but the bad news is he can stand there and shoot all day.
Yeah. I've even got artillery support. I've got like 3 or 4 artillery like right behind that line. Like, it's not like a lack of support or a lack of good positioning. It's just that there is no good position to get into. And these skirmishers are super annoying too.
Yeah. Well, and this CSA infantry, it not only fights really hard, takes shot after shot, it routs after a long time of doing damage to you, recovers in 2 nanoseconds, and comes back and does it again.
So I do have one thing that I can say where I do outclass you 3-1. and that is the kill to loss ratio that I had for my units. Yours was about a 3.19. Whenever I calculated it out, you got about 6,000 kills, and that 2,000 losses. And on mine, I went ahead and halved the number of captures that I got, and then added up the number of kills that I got. So I gave myself only credit for half the captures. And it came out to 9.58 to 1.
That's outstanding.
So I got 12,000 killed and captured by my men to the 1,320 losses. So there is a 3 to 1 that I can claim. It's just not in actual losses. Just that shows that my men were getting the kills. They were in position to get the kills. They took the shots. They gained the experience. Everywhere they could. And I made sure, and I lost men on my allied units if I could, but I tried to gain as much experience on my units as possible.
Yeah, the thing that's different about the Union campaign is that your losses, they matter, but they don't matter as much as they did in the CSA campaign. You're going to get flooded with men, and also you're going to get a lot of money, and you're going to get insanely good weapons. So what matters is how much XP you build for all of these units and how fast you can get your men to your raw recruits, get them their first star. But you're not as desperate for all kinds of resources like you are when playing the South.
Yeah, so, I really felt that for Shiloh. Yeah, Shiloh is painful.
It gets you want to save all the men that you possibly can for Shiloh. Shiloh is a big moment where you can get all of your men into the battle and get a whole bunch of experience. And the more men you can bring, the better off you are. But it's kind of hard to bring everybody because it's hard to get all of your men under arms. But if you can get all of your men into the battle and they can all get experience, you come out of that with a pretty good army.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I don't know how far you've played, but after Malvern Hill, there's a real drop in difficulty level. Your army will now have a bunch of 2-star and 3-star units. The Union artillery will start to be felt, and you'll just start to have numbers and weapons that give you a decisive advantage even on Legendary. So the difficulty level drops down to about 50% of, say, this.
I've beaten Shiloh. But I haven't actually, recorded the final version of it yet. I didn't feel like I did good enough. Not that I didn't do good, just that, there was...
You think you could do better?
Well, my plans worked, really well. I just made mistakes, and it cost me 500 or 600 men, which in the grand scheme of things probably isn't that much. But
yeah, for the Union, yeah, not a big deal.
No, it's not. But I just felt kind of foolish, and I wanted to improve a little bit more on it. So I've gotten the first little bit done, and I'm working on getting the rest of it done. I should have it done here in a few days. Probably within a couple days. I just have been playing way too much of it. And one thing I found was that after I got done with the battle, I went ahead and tried to build an army just to see what kind of army I could build.
Yeah.
You can only bring 6 units to the next minor battle. But I could...
What is the next minor battle?
Oh, man. You would ask me that, wouldn't you?
Because as I remember, a lot of the early battles are really easy. Ridiculous. The side battles.
Well, it's either Secure River, Rendezvous, or Seven Pines. And whenever I say the next one, I don't mean the next one chronologically. Because I go in order of how many units I can bring to each one.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Because you gain more experience, or you gain less experience, and then you gain more and more and more, so that you find those battles easier and easier and easier because you have more and more experience to use in more units. At the end of Shiloh, with just what I had, I was able to build 12 2-star units.
Nice.
I looked over your after Shiloh report.
Yeah.
I think you had like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I was using the method because at the time the general consensus was that third perk didn't matter. So just pour raw recruits into your veteran units and don't worry about it. Of course, I've taken exactly the opposite view now of try to preserve the XP in your best units. So that's how much things have changed since then. So yeah, in camp I would just pour men in.
I mean, that's basically what I'm doing anyway. But the difference is that since I ran my units, I can afford to and still keep stars. Is basically the difference. Because now all I ever do is pour raw recruits in. I don't ever pay on training still.
Oh, I wouldn't pay a penny for training. But what I would do is like take my best units and maybe merge them together to create a bunch of good 2-star units, and then without putting any raw recruits in, and then for the last unit take a 1-star unit and pour it into that, and then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like preserve the perk of the units, but not pour, because the Union raw recruits are just terrible.
They are pretty bad. But I mean, pretty much every man in the Union Army just isn't as good. And I think I was talking to Panda, and he said something about this. I hadn't ever heard this before, but that there's actually a like your stamina drains faster as Union, even if you have the same level of stamina. Like your condition drains faster on the Union, even if you have the same level of condition.
That's interesting.
And I was like, I did not know that, but I feel it, because I'm like, I have max stamina on some of my units, and they still feel like they're sluggish and run out of stamina. I'm like, but I have max. Like, it should be the same, right?
Yeah, I think it'd be the same.
But it's not.
It's possible that the developers did that on purpose, but it's also possible that they just were winging it. It just worked out that way. It's, who knows?
I don't know, but man, it is definitely painful, because even with full stamina, full 100 stamina, you still drain condition so fast. I just went back and I was playing that first battle in the rebalance, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, I can like run this unit for like, you know, more than like 3 feet, and it doesn't run out of condition. And it's only got like 20 stamina. Like, I have units with higher stamina here that run like half the distance and are exhausted. Like, it really is bad.
Yeah, for the Union Army, and again, this is something that people come from the CSA playthrough, they have to get used to, is you have to rest these units. And you can't just put them on run and go some long distance and fight. You can only run them short distances, and you have to take them off run. And a lot of times in a long battle, you have to take them off the line and rest them so they can get some condition back, and then put them back online. I mean, it's just, you have to manage it. The other thing is when you have units that are moving forward, as the Union does, and you know, you'll have like 100 units in some of these battles, and they're going to walk on top of each other, that's going to make them exhausted. Just covering a distance where they're walking on top of each other seems to wear them out.
That's one thing I'm definitely missing in the rebalance. And Panda's told me that he's gonna possibly put in a little bit of a little bit for me, and that is that he made it where units can't stack anymore in the rebalance. Yeah. He's going to allow a 20% overlap in units.
That sounds reasonable.
It sounds much better than what I'm dealing with right now, because right now it is painful. Like, one man is touching and you're like, seriously, just step over a bit. Like, like your man hasn't gotten into line yet. Like, he's still, the area that your unit should be taking up is X, but that one guy is standing out to the side and he won't move because he doesn't feel like it. So you can't put your units on hold because he's standing just a little bit to the side and there's another unit there. And you're like, come on, just step over. Like, Just get in line. It's fine. And they just won't do it. And you're like, come on, that it just feels ridiculous whenever that happens to you. And it happens a lot with like fortifications and stuff in Newport News.
Yeah.
Because that fortification is huge, evidently. So you have men like standing in that fortification that like spread out and like take up positions in all the houses around. You can't like hold position anywhere near the front of the base while you have a guy there, which was really annoying. So here we're just moving forward slowly, very slowly.
Yeah, you have. I've been watching this advance, and I've been thinking, yeah, you have plenty of time, but we're down to 7 minutes, and I think as the North, you have to take this, or you have to have it contested.
You have 45 minutes once you switch over to the next phase. And if you don't capture it by 45 minutes in the next phase, you lose.
You lose, yeah.
Yeah, but you do have till the next phase. You don't have to take it right now. I would have moved forward if I had had to. I just didn't want to rush it.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played this, but yeah, I'm looking at the condition of your units as you're flipping around through them. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Is it good or is it bad?
So I saw one unit with 10%, and this will. I mean, I've gotten here before with all of my units completely exhausted.
Yeah.
And then you're doomed, and you have to restart. And I don't like to restart battles. I like to play them like straight through from, the Abraham or the Abraham Lincoln or the Jefferson Davis speech to the end without replaying anything.
Oh wow. Yeah. Have not done that yet. I play a lot of each battle. I just really enjoy playing things, repeating the play and everything like that, and getting it down the way I want. Well, we've come to the end of this episode.
Okay, very cool.
So, anything interesting that you've seen that is different than what I've done before? Because this is pretty much all Warbob standard at this point, right?
Yeah, and I like how how you just kind of slowly pushed on the enemy. It's really excellent. And drove him back, and now you have the position. Your army's in good shape, and I'm interested to see how this counterattack is going to come when he unleashes a couple of waves of 3-star infantry at you.
It's not great, but we hold out slightly.
You know what I'm thinking right now is what I always think. Where's the artillery? With the North, you have to always think, where's the artillery?
My artillery on the, what is it, left-hand side here is pretty close. But the other ones, crossing that river is hard.
Yes.
And I've had times that I've crossed the river with my artillery just to have them jump on me and drive me back into my artillery. So I wanted to have my artillery still set up to keep them back from the river, back from my front line. And as soon as we swing over to this next phase, they need to be moving forward. But
the artillery here is mostly 6-pounders, I think. Maybe a few 10-pounders.
I have a 10-pound Ord and a 6-pound. And then I think Ricketts over there, you can see up in the corner.
Yeah.
I think he's a 6-pounder, and then all the ones along this side are all 6-pounders. You guys can't see it. You guys are at a blank screen right now. Sorry. But we're looking at the final screen before it ends. So you guys have a good one. We're going to have a good one. And we'll see you in the next episode. Well, this has been a blast. Hope you guys have had as much fun as I've had. I'll see you again in the next episode. You guys have a good one,